Hi everyone, and welcome to this feature walkthrough about one of our most important features, which are trigger zones. Trigger zones are different areas on stage that you can drag and drop to trigger certain actions, depending on who walks into them and how they behave. You see around me I have several trigger zones that I've created, and the most simple use case you can have is this zone in red that I have here, and as soon as I walk into the zone, not only the system starts tracking, but it also triggers a full body shot to automatically follow me around the stage. We also have different other zones on stage. So you see, for example, this green one, which we have configured together with our mixer via the API, which triggers a side-by-side split view with the presentation slides and also a half body shot that we have here. We also made it so that when I leave, we go back to the full body shot that we had earlier and we resume tracking. And then we also have this other trigger zone here on the blackboard that once again communicates with the mixer to trigger a camera switch after 3 seconds. You see there, I'm switched to the second camera, which has this overview shot over the blackboard so that everyone can see what's being written. And once again, when I leave the camera, we go back to the main camera and it keeps following me in this full body shot. We also have what we call an exclusion zone or a tracking zone, which you can draw the areas of the stage that should not be included in the tracking, so that when I walk outside of that zone, the system goes back to an overview shot that goes back to the standby mode. When I come back in again, you see that the workflow resumes automatically, and this is how you can produce autonomous productions 24/7. Now we will show you the behind the scenes of how all of this works. All right, now we want to show you how this looks from our interface. As you see on the left-hand side panel, we have different zones that we have created, all of them in different colors with different settings. And on this case, I will show you what the center zone looks like. So if I click here to edit, you will see I can drag and drop the edges of the zone to place them wherever I want and make any shape. And then here on this panel, you can see we have different conditions, either for enter, stay, or leave. And for each of them, you can also set a custom delay for the system to wait for a certain amount of time before an action is triggered. You can also set it to react to any person, or if you want to use person-specific automation, you can upload a photo, as we have shown in previous videos. And you can also select any action to be triggered from our containers, or as you've seen previously, also through send commands through our API with external devices. Once I click save and I enable the zone, in this case I had applied a half body shot when I enter this red zone after 2 seconds. You'll see I wait here for 2 seconds, the system starts tracking and triggers a half body shot. Now I want to also show you how this looks when you also work with the exclusion zone or what we call the tracking zone. So if I zoom out a bit to show you what the edges of the room look like, I can also click edit, and then once again I can drag and drop what the edges of the stage look like to exclude the audience or to show the limits of the room so that I'm not tracked when I leave the room. Once I'm happy with the shape, I can click save, click here to enable it, and once again it's now ready to be used for 24/7 autonomous productions. All of these configurations you can also save and have different room layouts or different zone layouts depending on the usage of the room. And of course, you only have to set this up once and forget about it, because this is only usually done at the beginning of a production and not any other time. That's it for this feature walkthrough. Check out other features to learn more about the Seervision suite. Thanks for watching.